The story opens with a beautiful girl holding Jun's hand near an aquarium, but the vision fades as he wakes. Dreams of his ex-girlfriend have become routine lately. This one leaves a sense of warmth as he blinks awake. Sunlight flows through the window, hitting his face sharply. He groans, realizing his mother must have left the curtains open. Shielding his eyes, he wishes he could wake up slowly on his day off, especially after that dream. Sitting on the bed, he sighs. It has been only a month since the breakup, yet the memories remain fresh and vivid. He notices a girl sitting in front of him, scrolling on her phone. For a moment, he wonders if he's still dreaming, but no, she's real, his childhood friend and ex-girlfriend, Rumi. He blurts out, asking why she's there so early. She glances up and calmly says it's already noon. Irritated, he snaps that it's his day off, and he can wake up whenever he wants. Adjusting his glasses, he asks if she came for a reason, perhaps for club activities or just returning in her school uniform. She casually replies that she dropped by and teases that his sleeping face looked childlike. The comment annoys him. He pulls out a chair, plopping onto it, and grumbles that staring at someone while they sleep is a bad habit. She rolls her eyes, muttering, "Sure, whatever," and smirks at his messy hair, joking that it looks like a tornado hit it. He grabs a brush, muttering as he fixes it. She shrugs, saying she just woke up too. Folding his arms, he frowns and asks why she's barging into the house of the guy she dumped. She must have a purpose, right? She falls silent, swallows, then suggests he wash his face first. He hesitates but heads to the washroom. Unlike him, who hasn't moved on since the breakup, she acts as if nothing happened, even though she ended things. Their distance feels sharper now, not because she avoids him, but because an invisible barrier separates them. This gives him faint reassurance, yet he knows he can't keep drifting. He needs to sort out his feelings. After washing his face and brushing his hair, he steps out and notices the lounge is empty. His parents must have gone to the room next door. He asks if they had already left when she arrived. With a playful tone, she recounts that they were there earlier. His mother greeted her cheerfully, saying, "Rumai-chan, perfect timing, we're about to go out, and the sleepyhead is still in bed, so can you wake him?" Then they left. He waves her off, saying there's no need for dramatics and that their parents should act their age. She rests her hand on her chin, teasing if he's being overcautious. He insists he's speaking generally. She puts her phone down and asks when he'll go out with Naori. Silence hangs between them. She warns him not to say he's forgotten. He reassures her that he remembers. How could he forget something so ridiculous right after the breakup? She clenches the bedsheet, insisting she's serious. He warns her not to call someone stupid in the morning. Her early request sounds absurd, he remarks. She looks down, her expression serious. She admits it's harsh to ask this suddenly, but hesitates before adding that it's because it's him. Sweat drips from his forehead. She continues, quietly pressing that if he doesn't fulfill her request, their breakup will feel meaningless. He asks what happened to her. She ignores him and says he knows Naori has always liked him. His eyes widen. He insists he can't change his feelings for her easily or just forget her. Going out with Naori without feelings would make him feel guilty. She asks if he at least doesn't hate her. He moves his chair closer and reassures her that he doesn't. She nods, but he shouts that it isn't right. He warns that while she might say such things easily, this isn't simple. He still has feelings for her. She snaps, telling him to stop, that she doesn't want to hear more. He leans forward, asking if she's sure she won't regret this, if she's truly okay with him dating Naori. She looks down, quietly saying she doesn't care and that he should date Naori. The story shifts to Naori Jinguji, whose idea of a holiday is reading books, novels, and manga all day. One morning, her parents discuss cherry picking. Naori insists she wants to stay home, avoid crowds, and set her own boundaries. Her father excuses himself, not wanting to be stuck in traffic as the driver. Her mother offers to drive instead. Rumi adds that she saw cherry picking on a TV special. Her mother questions if it's too early, but her father warms to the idea if it's home-based cultivation. Though he worries about crowds, her mother reassures him that it won't be far or busy. Naori sighs, thinking she could go if that's all. She rolls her eyes at her father, finding him undignified. Reading alone is her favorite activity, and she spends her time absorbed in novels. The conversation began the night before when her father rejected a vacation altogether. Naori was thrilled, but her mother suggested cherry picking as a chance to go out. Rumi added that others are going overseas, so why can't they? Naori and her father prefer staying home, while Rumi and her mother love going out. A clash of introverts and extroverts. When Rumi asks her sister Naori's opinion, She agrees, reasoning that she can give one day for her sister's happiness. She feels proud for reading the situation as Rumi's face lights up. Her father suggests inviting Jun Shirosaki's family for a barbecue in the yard. Naori perks up at the thought of eating meat, but notices Rumi's expression and feels concern. Her sister's ex-boyfriend might be there, yet Naori decides to go along with the cherry-picking. She braces for complications. Coming downstairs, she finds her father watching the same Star Trek movie again. Annoyed, she asks why he always watches it. He praises the characters and visuals. She rolls her eyes, not caring. Noticing her mother and sister are out, likely shopping or at club activities. She sits at the table and spots a lone piece of hot cake. She glares at her father, realizing he ate the rest. As she prepares to scold him, a message from Jun Shirosaki pops up, asking if she has time to go somewhere. Flustered, Naori freezes but decides to go along. After all, as a fellow loner, there's nothing to hesitate about. The story drifts to Rumi Jinguji perspective, who arrives at Jun's house feeling weighed down by regret. Confessing to him and dating him was her biggest mistake. As he sleeps, she moves closer to peek at his face. Jun Shirosaki has been her childhood friend since he moved into the neighborhood in grade school, and their families grew close. Pulling back from his boyish face, she sits at the foot of the bed and sighs as he hasn't woken. She opens the curtains and sunlight cuts across him. He groans, annoyed, and asks why she's there so early. She retorts that it's noon and teases his messy hair. He heads to the washroom. She quickly hugs his pillow and blanket, inhaling their scent, then composes herself and scrolls through her phone as he returns. He asks where his parents went. She answers that they were home when she arrived, and his mother asked her to look after him before leaving. She tilts her head, asking if he's overcautious. He replies it's a general thought. Watching his calm demeanor, she feels frustrated that she's the only one nervous. When he mentions she dumped him, she falls silent, guilt pressing at her chest. In her mind, she admits Jun was only going along with her, and she took advantage of both his and Naori's feelings. She hates herself for it, which is why she ended things, believing it would be better for everyone. Gathering herself, she tells him to go out with her sister Naori. He draws a deep breath and says he'll think about it. Her heart tightens as she realizes she's dumped her first love and is now pushing him toward her twin sister. It feels unbearably harsh. Jun has known the twin sisters next door since his first year of elementary school. When his family moved into a new house, he discovered twins his age lived right next door. He tried to act cool about it, but deep down, he was excited. The sisters, Rumi and Naori, quickly became close to him. They spent afternoons playing and reading together, moments Jun recalls as pure happiness. In their senior year of elementary school, Rumi suddenly cut her hair short, startling Jun. He wondered if she was heartbroken but didn't ask why. His mind was on Naori, the smarter twin who always impressed him. Jun loved reading and prided himself on his knowledge, but Naori often outmatched him. He shared dinosaur stories with the sisters, earning their praise. One day, he proudly shared new facts from books, basking in their admiration. As the twins prepared to leave, Naori paused and whispered sharply in his ear, correcting him. "Dinosaurs didn't evolve just to survive," she said. "The species that became birds are what we see today. Evolution is gradual, a series of changes over time, not a sudden shift in one generation. If one differs, it's an abnormality." She also dismissed the idea of a tyrannosaurus with thick feathers, noting that a massive body couldn't cool down easily since reptiles don't sweat. Feathers would cause problems. With that, she waved goodbye and left. Jun watched her go, thinking, what's her deal? Naori aced every test, devoured books, and seemed to know everything. He had lost to her in almost every topic. Even before the dinosaur argument, she became someone he felt he had to surpass. During a class day, a friend of Naori's casually asked what kind of people she liked. Naori said she wanted someone better than herself, striking Jun hard. He decided that if he could make her see him as ideal and keep winning, she would notice him. He didn't realize how thrilling the thought was. It wasn't about liking her. He just wanted to win and challenge her. Every time he passed her classroom, he looked for her, though entering the Jinguji house felt intimidating. One day, while stretching with a friend asked if he had a girlfriend or someone he liked. Jun hesitated, admitting he was interested in Naori, but not exactly as a girlfriend. Still, he couldn't ignore the butterflies when she was around. That summer in 6th grade, he quietly observed his first love. Being young, he couldn't show it openly, and over time, the feeling faded. His desire to surpass Naori fueled his studies, pushing him to achieve top scores and enter a prestigious high school. By then, he held the #1 ranking, while Naori hovered around 5th. During a final test in their second year of middle school, June noticed Naori flipping through her phone. Curious, he asked if she wasn't worried about their ranks. She calmly replied that she aimed high, following a rule not to review answers until the exam ended. She had finished faster than everyone since the entrance exam, often sleeping while the test continued. He looked at her in disbelief, asking if she was serious. What about scores and rankings? She shrugged, saying she could have gotten first if she reviewed more, but it felt boring. Did he really think he could beat her? He realized he had already lost. Just when he thought he could impress her, she was fighting a different battle. He hadn't become better than her. During spring break of their third year, Rumi asked him to go out. He realized he had no chance with Naori and agreed to date Rumi. Though his feelings for Naori lingered, he moved on, growing to love Rumi. On their dates, he felt happy. She was cheerful and straightforward, pushing him to act without overthinking. Their childhood friendship bloomed into love. They grew closer, kissed, and became a couple. Then, during spring break before high school, Rumi said, "Let's end this." He protested, holding her hand, asking what was wrong and promising to fix anything. She pulled away gently, saying, "Forgive me for being selfish." It wasn't hate. She enjoyed their time together, but had one final favor: go out with Naori as soon as possible. The words hit like a curse. Though she pleaded, their relationship ended. In the present, standing at Naori's door, June mutters that he's sorry for showing up. She smiles. They walk down the street together. She tilts her head, asking where they're going. He mentions the movies. She frowns, saying a crowded theater during Golden Week sounds crazy. He smirks, asking if she's sick or inhaled laughing gas. He adds that if he had, his mind would be hazy. Then he asks if she wants to watch something. She shrugs, saying nothing really, and points out that he invited her. He admits he has something in mind. She nods, and it's settled. At the train station, they stand since there are no seats. June scrolls through his phone, pretending to be calm, but his mind buzzes. Should he confess to Naori? How should he start? The wording matters. If Rumi felt this when she confessed, he's overthinking it. He lacks confidence and decides to postpone it, focusing on the movie for now. Naori asks what he's looking at. He points to his phone. He's picking a film. She smiles, saying the best time travel story is Back to the Future. He agrees, noting she likes nerdy things too. She teases that he's a huge geek. He protests, joking about her naming her goldfish Gulliver, calling it pretentious. She snaps that Coin Locker Babies is a masterpiece and undeniable. He clarifies he loves it too, but finds the name over the top. She yells Datura and grins, saying she's Rem and will blast him with a Star Destroyer. She claims her transport device outmatches his photon torpedoes. He shakes his head, saying she always brings up torpedoes and transporters. At the packed movie theater, they decide to wait. She asks if he knows where Rumi is. He freezes, looking down, and asks why. She explains that Rumi wasn't home when she woke up, and her father didn't know either. June guesses club activities. She nods, and silence falls. June scrolls through his phone. Novel titles flash in his mind. He hasn't read half of them. He wanted to catch up with Naori, but her reading list dwarfs his. A sense of inferiority seals away thoughts of his first love. Still, as Rumi said, if Naori has feelings for him, his efforts weren't for nothing. Why is he hesitating? He likes Naori and needs to admit it. Meanwhile, Naori sits reading, reflecting. She feels ugly inside, not outside. After June and Rumi's breakup, she told herself it was for the best, that she could move forward. She recalls crying all night when they started dating, realizing tears can relieve you. Letting them flow revives her. She feels jealousy at June and Rumi's closeness. Rumi always seems ahead, making friends, wearing grown-up clothes, finding a lover. One day, overwhelmed, Naori ran a fever. Squeezing a towel on her forehead, she thought it was punishment for her anxiety. She knew Rumi liked June, and she watched him warm to her sister. She longs to tell him she likes him, but the timing is impossible. Their lives are intertwined as childhood neighbors, and a confession could disrupt their fragile balance. She decided to leave it to chance. If she scored first on a test, she would confess. That chance never came. June was with Rumi, and Naori waited, paralyzed by hesitation. In truth, she's a coward. After the movie, she looks happy, saying it was worth watching. June feels quiet pride in his choice. She mentions the convincing acting when characters scribbled on the blackboard, though Interstellar set high expectations. He replies that the physicist aiding Nolan with gravity calculations was impressive. Even if he barely understood the math, it shows Nolan's skill. Talking about blackboards, he mentions the man who stole the sun. She recalls the atomic bomb scene, noting Shin Godzilla's board felt convincing despite being fake. Kaiju fans notice such details. He muses about a real kaiju appearing and the military's response. She agrees, saying a realistic film sounds exciting, but tokusatsu fans love bold explosions, even if predictable. He wishes it had been more intense. They laugh, overwhelmed by their discussion. She suggests going somewhere else, saying she's reached her limit. He agrees, and they head to the park. At the park, they sit on a bench. He asks if she's cold. She teases, asking if he wants something, maybe money. He laughs, saying he's just concerned about her legs. She rolls her eyes, saying high school girls showing their legs shouldn't be underestimated. Placing her hands under her chin, she jokes that characters with plump legs are trending, and now's her time to shine. He admits he hadn't thought of it. When she playfully lifts her skirt, he blushes and begs her to stop, saying it's his loss. She compares him to a fictional character, Irene, and he looks down, a little saddened. Gathering courage, he asks if they can start dating. She pretends to apologize, confusing him, and explains her mom warned her against someone tricky or Sherlockian. She smiles, saying she's happy, but can't answer seriously. It's a long-prepared joke for whenever he confessed. When he hesitates, unsure, she laughs and reassures him she won't refuse for that reason. Their eyes meet. He nervously admits he's been panicking. Extending his hand, she grasps it, smiling, and says she looks forward to being his partner. The family gathers in the garden on the last day of Golden Week for a barbecue with June's family. Rumi watches her parents enjoy themselves, chatting about the past and teasing over a photo of Rumi and Naori she secretly likes. Their father reminds everyone it was a horror movie cosplay. Rumi has protested this countless times, but June and Naori agree it's obvious. The mood is lively as they eat until full. Then the adults start drinking and discussing topics the kids don't join. Rumi notices June bent over a desk, tapping it. She thinks he looks foolish. He'd be cool if he stood still, but his awkward mix of confidence and clumsiness is endearing. She recalls when he once brought a gift, only to reveal a raw bottle of soy sauce. She laughs, remembering his expression as he carried it all day. Her father asks June if he prefers a Messerschmitt or a Spitfire. Rumi and Naori's father loves tanks, planes, films, and novels. June knows a lot, and her father often indulges him. Rumi lowers her head as June explains he picks the P-51 Mustang for its industrial efficiency, production scale, and worker management. Her father retorts that the Mustang lacks aesthetic soul, unlike the Messerschmitt. June's father agrees. June counters that the Mustang's Merlin engine makes it exceptional, questioning how anyone could prefer a plane with a foreign engine. He insists the Zero Fighter II deserves mention. The debate spirals into back-and-forth arguments. Rumi watches, anticipating hours of chaotic discussion. She sighs, thinking how childish her father and June are. They only stop when women intervene. Every barbecue or camping trip brings this chaos. A few days before the barbecue, on the night June confesses to Naori, she calls Rumi to her room before bed. Rumi enters, asking what's up. Naori hesitates, then says June confessed to her today. Rumi's face lights up with happiness. She congratulates Naori and teases that it's exciting. Naori, a bit awkward, asks if that's okay with her. Rumi nods, but Naori notices her playful act and urges her to speak honestly. Naori reveals she turned June down, citing his unpredictable approach. Rumi's expression darkens, ready to retort, but Naori laughs, praising her sudden expression and joking she could be an actor. Rumi protests, saying it sounds like a backhanded compliment. Naori chuckles, insisting she has a thicker build. Rumi teases that she's more slender, suggesting light exercise or a night walk. She jokingly adds she could ask June to be her bodyguard. Naori frowns, saying she doesn't want to talk about June. She protests that if ruffians attacked, June would just die. He's no Legolas. Rumi laughs, admitting it's silly to make him a bodyguard. Naori concludes that in a zombie apocalypse, they'd be done for in Chapter 1. Rumi recalls the last time she hugged June tightly, insisting she wouldn't let go until he dated Naori. They often hugged and kissed like that, but this time felt different. He agreed, and she warned him not to fail her. Her thoughts drift to Naori, who said June lectures endlessly, survives despite being weak, and drags the protagonist down, a character almost better off dead. Rumi teases that he's still her boyfriend. Their playful chatter continues. Later, alone in her room, Naori hugs a stuffed toy, thinking about her boyfriend. She holds it tighter, feeling excited. She thinks, June, I'll help you forget Rumi. After all these years, she's had you to herself. She wants to teach him everything from scratch. The next morning, Naori bursts into June's room, greeting him with a bright good morning. He sits up in bed, surprised to see her so early. She waves it off and sits beside him, saying she came to play since it's the last day of Golden Week. She guesses he wanted to see her. He reminds her they met yesterday, then moves to a chair. She sprawls across his bed, teasing why he's keeping his distance. Glancing at his phone, he mutters it's because she's on his bed. She laughs, urging him to join her. Flustered, he resists until she orders him to hurry. Left with no choice, he lies beside her. She snuggles closer, resting her head on his arm. He complains she shouldn't use his arm as a pillow, but she teases, asking why not. Doesn't this shop offer that option? He says he's not a store, but she smiles, savoring the quiet rhythm of his heartbeat. To her, this sound feels like happiness itself, a reminder of the womb, of life before thought, of something pure. She decides this heartbeat now belongs to him too. He gently wraps a hand around her head, and her face heats up. She thinks he's pulling tricks, petting her like a dog, and almost smirks. She teases if there's an extra charge for this service. He apologizes nervously, saying he acted without thinking. She pouts that stopping midway is unfair. She warns that if he mistook her for a roommate, she'll curse him, but if not, he should continue. He does, and her smile brightens. To ease the tension, he grabs a book, asking if the one she read was interesting. She says it was, though she pouted through it, and offers to lend it to him. She explains he sorts and reflects on stories before putting them away, while she prefers to float freely in what she reads. He compares her words' density to the Inugami family story, mentioning the film adaptation. She shares trivia about the versions but admits she hasn't seen one of them. He sighs, saying catching up with her is hard enough, and bluffing is unfair. Confused, she asks if he means her books. Looking away, he admits he'd find the book himself if she didn't offer it. She laughs softly, saying he should have asked. He insists it feels like admitting defeat. She slaps him lightly, secretly pleased he's aware of her. Leaning in, she says their talk isn't over. She edges closer and boldly whispers for them to kiss, leaving him flustered. On the Monday after Golden Week, Rumi eats lunch with her best friend Asano on the rooftop stairs. Asano scolds her, calling her foolish for breaking up with June, despite loving him and now doing something even crazier. Rumi sighs, saying she can only talk about this with Asano. She admits she couldn't forgive herself for getting a head start over Naori. Irritated, Asano snaps that such thinking is gross, even for twins. Rumi accepts it but insists June's first love was Naori, making it best. Asano slams her juiced box, asking what Rumi gains from hurting herself. Rumi says she'll be proud as a sister and friend. This angers Asano more. Rumi stares in awe, blurting that Asano looks cool for saying such things. Flustered, Asano tells her to stop talking nonsense. Rumi adds that Asano is reliable and mature, unlike herself. Asano denies being either, but Rumi reminds her how popular she was with underclassmen. They tease back and forth. Rumi recalls June joking that Asano seemed more suited to be club president, and she kicked him for it. Asano teases that Rumi keeps circling back to June. Rumi denies it, but Asano presses closer, saying her love for him is obvious. Rumi admits her guilt toward Naori eases this way. Asano suggests that if June dumps Naori and returns to Rumi, there'd be no problem. The thought shakes Rumi, but she denies it, insisting June and Naori get along better since Naori was his first love. Asano urges her to be positive, noting Rumi dated June for a year, which should count. Rumi protests that Naori is cuter and shares hobbies with June. Asano brushes it off, saying Rumi never struggled to talk with him despite not being an otaku. She argues Rumi is cuter and that Naori stealing her sister's boyfriend feels silly, suiting Naori's style. Their talk shifts as Asano recalls Naori mocking her name, making her avoid her sense. Rumi wonders if Naori is seen as a nuisance in class. Asano clarifies that Naori stands out. Her mannerisms, gestures, and speech feel deliberate, almost calculated. Rumi admits Naori knows it too. Asano calls it awkward. Rumi adds that Naori always fights back and gets arrogant. This sparks a thought in Asano. She says Rumi can never win against Naori's body. The remark hits hard, and Rumi's first instinct is to punch her.